Feynman's technique. There exists a profound adage you may have encountered. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. At the heart of this wisdom lies the essence of the Feynman technique. It is named after famous physicist Richard Feynman, a Nobel laureate celebrated for his pioneering work in quantum electrodynamics. Let's straight jump into Feynman's technique. Step 1. Pick a topic. Start with anything. Quantum physics, the art of baking, or even why the sky is blue. Step 2. Teach it simply. Explain it like you're teaching a child. Strip away the fancy words and focus on clarity. For example, instead of saying quantum entanglement, say, two particles are like twins. What happens to one instantly affects the other, no matter the distance. Step 3. Find the gaps. Notice where you stumble or get stuck. That's where your understanding needs work. Go back to the source and fill those gaps. Step 4. Refine it, review, and simplify until even someone with no background can understand it. When you can teach it clearly, you've truly mastered it. These are the brief steps of the Feynman's technique. Huberman's lab, one of the recent studies shared by Andrew Huberman, revealed something surprising. The best way to study is not what you think. The best learning practice are not intuitive. For articulation, Huberman compared 3 groups of students. Group 1 will study, and study. Group 2, study, takes a test. Group 3, study, takes a test, and again takes a test, and finally takes a test. And now the finale test day, all 3 groups took the finale test. The results were eye-opening. Although the first group was better in terms of locking that information into people's mind, allowing them to use that information flexibility, the performance on the final test was essentially proportional to the number of the tests one had already taken on that material. It's not about how many times you study the material, but how often you test yourself on it, even if you don't perform well. Initially, comparing your answer to the correct one improves retention, active recall in one of episodes. Andrew Huberman welcomed Cal Newport, a renowned computer scientist and author of How to Become a Straight A Student. And in that book, Cal advocates that the traditional way of studying is the best way to learn or retain information. That is active recall. Dr. Cal gathered students who have straight A's and who don't seem completely ground out. The protocol was, how did you study for the last test? How did you take notes for the last test? The core idea was replicating the information from scratch as if teaching a class without looking at the notes. It doesn't take much time, but it is incredibly mentally taxing. It's difficult to sit there and try to replicate and pull forth. Okay, what did I read here? How did that work? It's very mentally taxing, but it is very time efficient if you are willing to essentially put up with that. With the pain, you will learn very quickly. Here's how it works. After reading a section of material, step away for a moment, go for a walk, close your eyes, just pause, and try to recall what you have learned, what details stick, what do you struggle to remember, then go back to the material. Check your understanding and fill in the gaps. Mnemonics, we have all been there trying to remember something. We have learned an hour ago only to forget it minutes later. No matter how much you stare at textbooks or rereading the notes, it just does not stick. Our brain are wired to remember vivid spaces, landscape, faces, and paths, not endless text. Let's go through it. So picture your house or someplace you well remember. It can be a fictional palace, your local street. This is a number to letter mapping. Let's say you want to convert in this sequence. Now, place these in your imagined space, for example, in your garage. As you enter the garage, you see a shiny trophy, 2754, proudly displayed on your workbench. Suddenly, a giant melon, 6819, rolls out from the shelves and starts bouncing around the room. In the corner, a ghost, 3042, appears, making spooky noises near the old tools. Finally, you notice a burning 1597 tire, and you scramble to put it out. Mind mapping is a method for taking and organizing notes that aligns with how brain works in enhancing memory learning and information retrieval. Unlike traditional note-taking linear transcription, mind mapping uses visual keywords and connections, making information more memorable and personal. Grind, which simply means grouping, relational, interconnected, nonverbal, directional. Grouping. Organize information into meaningful categories to enhance memory and understanding. Relational? Identify and emphasize relationships between concepts, such as cause-effects or chronological links. Avoid overloading relationships. Focus on the most relevant. Interconnected, ensure that group related to one another to build a comprehensive big picture. Try for a clean, well-organized structure, nonverbal. Minimize word by using symbols, images in spatial arrangement to represent ideas. Directional. Add arrow and flow to show the interaction between ideas. This improves clarity, organization, and understanding of complex relationships. Emphasized. Prerequisite. Helpful for verifying, summarizing, or collected information to save time and still engaging in critical thinking. Postrequisite. Highlight the most critical groups and relationships for the topic. Managing distractions. Distractions are inevitable, but to handle them effectively, we need to understand their two main types: external distractions and internal distractions. Let's start with external distractions. These are often easier to deal with. You can isolate yourself, set boundaries, or even let your family know not to disturb you during your focus time. But the real challenge lies with internal distractions. Picture this: you're solving a math problem, and out of nowhere, you start thinking about Minecraft or something completely unrelated. Sound familiar? To manage this, you need to build awareness. Whenever your mind drifts, bring it back gently. Remind yourself why this task is important and what it will lead to. Discipline is a buzzword, often thrown around as the ultimate solution. But let's face it, forcing yourself to do something only works for so long. The real secret lies in finding meaning in what you're doing. Take Steve Jobs, for example. His goal wasn't just to make computers, he wanted to put a ding in the universe. He found meaning in his work, and that kept him going. Discipline is overused. Unit more than that. A positive association with the work you are. Do it should be. Not something you need to force yourself to do it. But you must have a meaning. And here's the thing. No one else can define that meaning for you. It's personal. You need to explore, experience, and discover it for yourself. For instance, if you're struggling with homework, think about it this way. Once it's done, you'll have free time to do what you love. Or imagine how proud your family will feel when you succeed. If you don't find meaning right away, that's okay. Keep trying. Experiment with different perspectives. Find what clicks for you. Distractions and discipline are part of life, but when you connect your work to a purpose, it transforms everything. So, the next time you're stuck, take a step back, look for the bigger picture, and keep moving forward. Brain adaptability. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change based on experiences, enabling learning, memory, and adaptation. During childhood, learning happens passively, while post-25, intentional focus and specific protocols are needed for brain changes. Key factors for change. Neuroplasticity requires heightened alertness, epinephrine, and attention, acetylcholine. These neurochemicals allow the nervous system to modify neural connections, strengthening or weakening them based on experiences. Tools for focus and attention. Visual focus aids, mental focus. Practicing sustained visual attention can improve overall concentration. Techniques like non-sleep deep rest, NSDR, or short naps enhance learning and reinforce neuroplasticity. Optimizing learning and memory. Learning is best during periods of natural alertness, typically in 90-minute ultradian cycles. Sleep plays a critical role in consolidating changes made during focused learning. Practical applications and protocols. Identify personal motivations, e.g., fear or love, to boost alertness and commitment to goals. Use simple behavioral adjustments like focused vision practices and accountability methods. Reading is key. Fiction improves reading speed and vocabulary, while nonfiction provides knowledge to use in conversations. Practice what you learn to make it stick. Learning by doing or imagining. Skills are best remembered when practiced, but if that's not possible, imagine scenarios where the skill is needed. Visualization convinces your brain the knowledge is useful. Effective study techniques. Practice questions simulate real situations and help retain knowledge better than repetition or other methods. Creating high-stakes scenarios boosts focus and retention. Let's talk about sleep learning and neuropriming technique. Use theta wave audio before bed to absorb information effortlessly. Train focus by studying in chaotic environments, e.g., background noise, alarms, to improve concentration under distractions. 5-sense memory trick: pair smells, music, or colors with study sessions for better recall. Example, chew cinnamon gum while studying, then sniff it later to trigger memory. Create effective flashcards using 3 steps, SRR. Now, let's talk about some practical learning methods. 1. Interleaving what it is. Mixing different topics or problem types instead of studying one thing at a time. How it works. Instead of doing only algebra problems, mix in geometry and statistics in the same session. Learning languages, alternate between grammar, vocabulary, and listening exercises. 2. Flashcards. What it is. Cards with a question on one side and an answer on the other. How it works. Useful for memorizing vocabulary, formulas, or key facts. 3. Blurting, brain dumping. What it is. Writing everything you know about a topic without structure. How it works. Forces recall, but lacks organization, making it less useful than structured techniques. 4. Creating content. This means actively producing something based on what you're learning, like writing notes in your own words, drawing diagrams, making videos, or even building a project. It forces deeper engagement and application of knowledge. How to use it. Summarize what you learned by creating a blog post, podcast, or video. Make your own illustrations, mind maps, or concept charts. Turn information into a short guide or cheat sheet. Teaching others, or pretending to, also counts as content creation. 5. Pomodoro technique. What it is. A time management method that breaks work into focused intervals, usually 25 minutes, with short breaks. How it works. Set a timer for 25 minutes, work with full focus, then take a 5-minute break. Repeat. 7. Exercise. What it is. Physical activity that improves memory and concentration. How it works. Even a short walk before studying boosts brain function and reduces stress. 8. Syntopical reading. What it is. Studying multiple sources on the same topic. How it works. Instead of relying on one book or lecture, read different perspectives to get a deeper understanding. Overused methods. 1. Rereading Why It Fails. Creates an illusion of familiarity without true learning. 2. Highlighting Why It Fails. Doesn't involve active engagement, it's passive. 3. Rewatching lectures. Why It Fails. Like rereading, it feels productive but doesn't reinforce learning.